Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Julie Lucas, this is Lee Rose Brosnan. We're the Campus Outreach Coordinators here at the Associated Colleges of the Midwest. And today we're really excited to introduce you all to Javier Espeleta. He is the Program Director at ACM's Costa Rica site, and to Mario Morera, and he is the Spanish Language Coordinator. So today they'll be speaking to you all about the fall and spring programs in Costa Rica, and Kate Rose and I will give you some more information about information for if you're interested in applying to either of the programs. And then at the end, we'll take any questions you have. If you have any throughout, you can just write those down in the chat box, and we'll also get those at the end as well. Thanks so much again for joining us. Javier and Mario, you guys can take it away.
Good morning. I'm Javier Espeleta. I'm the director of the ACM program in Costa Rica. And today I'm going to give you a brief oversight of our program, and specifically in the two semesters that we offer here. The first, the fall semester, where we do the community engagement program, and in the spring, when we do the field research program. So just to give you a little bit of perspective on the history of ACM, the Associated Colleges of the Midwest. It was founded in 1958, so it's a relatively well-established organization with a long history. It has operated off-campus programs since the early 1960s. It's an association of 14 small liberal arts colleges, and with the goal of reaching the curriculum of the member colleges of the consortium. And it offers a wide variety of faculty, staff, and student development opportunities. And then, obviously, including those are like the study abroad opportunities in many different countries, including the one here in Costa Rica. So why is study abroad? Recently, the World Economic Forum produced this list of what they are considered the 21st century skills. And these skills probably go beyond what traditionally was considered to be a skill that you could gain in full education. Some of them that we are probably familiar with, like literacy, numeracy, or scientific literacy, even ICT literacy. But there are other things such as critical thinking, creativity, communication, ability to collaborate, curiosity, persistence, adaptability, leadership, social and cultural awareness, and all these are very important skills that are going to be crucial in the 21st century. So I personally believe that study abroad has a very unique role to play in the process of educating all these skills. When we think of modern world with all the advances in communication technology, we always ask the question of like how easy can we replace traditional classroom education? And in many things, we can imagine a future when we don't really have to go through the same process of being present in classrooms to be able to acquire knowledge. However, for study abroad, I think we cannot replace so easily the experiences that the ability to be present in a particular place offers. And when we consider the changes that our current world is undergoing, especially global climatic change, that is manifested in different ways, like increasing global temperature in the planet, linked to the ever-increasing release of greenhouse gases. We're basically confronted with a world that is changing rapidly and is posing a lot of challenges, unique and unprecedented to society. And these challenges are going to be basically related to complexity. When we talk about complexity, we talk about multiple variables, interactions among those variables, feedbacks, heterogeneity in space and time, the stochasticity, the evolution of these systems, the constant changes, and also the difficult factor of predicting human influence. And all this together actually requires that we, as a society, begin thinking of changing paradigms of education. And when I talk about changing paradigms of education, it's basically educating for global change. And what aspects are going to be needed? Well, for instance, we can talk about ingenuity, transdisciplinarity, spatial and temporal complexity, understanding, complex and critical thinking, and social and ethical engagement. So all those things are going to be aspects that will be crucial. And I think the study abroad offers a unique way of how to really acquire these knowledges. For instance, in study abroad, we offer like a possibility of experiential learning, probably in a more realistic way than normally on-campus life offers. We also offer the opportunity for interdisciplinary and teamwork, and also international and intercultural perspective, and also the ability to bring new elements to every person and new basis of reference. And open empathic relationships are going to be very important for the future. ACM. Well, ACM is a very important player in this process of bringing all this new knowledge to the new generations. And I think ACM is in a really good position because of its tradition, its history, and its strong involvement in many different programs in the world. So we actually can offer an academically strong and culturally immersive off-campus program, which are grounded in the whole principles of liberal arts and sciences, which brings all these ideas of interdisciplinarity, and with some features. For instance, the opportunity to pursue individual interests through independent study projects, hands-on research, and internships. Also, we have the possibility of developing small program sizes with close faculty mentoring and distinctive opportunities. We also have we offer place-based learning that encourages community and cultural engagement. And we also have this long history of 50 years of the students from your colleges participating in ACM programs with academic credits, a transfer, and ease of in the use of financial dedication. And then it comes to our program specific, and it's why Costa Rica. Well, Costa Rica has always special features, and I always call Costa Rica kind of like the gate to Latin America. It brings the complexity of Latin America to a more manageable size. But also Costa Rica is well known because of the abundance and conservation of biodiversity. It's democracy, long-standing democracy, universal access to education, which is a very important part of the life in Costa Rica, as well as the universal access to health coverage. And the country is grounded in a strong tradition of having the family as the core of society. The country has no military since the 1940s, and it offers access to potable water, and it's being considered by different like scoring systems as one of the happiest countries in the world, or at least where the people reports the greatest satisfaction of the quality of living. Costa Rica also has made important strides in areas such as energy and clean energy, and right now Costa Rica this last year was able to produce more than 90% of pretty much all the energy the country used was coming from green sources, most of it hydroelectric, but also wind power. So it's a very unique situation where Costa Rica is right now. One important thing that we already pointed out about the program the ACM programs in general is its history. Well, Costa Rica, the program in Costa Rica is one of the first programs of ACM, and it was started in 1963. And this is the photograph of the very first course. And in this photograph, you can spot, well, at least I can spot, people who were very important in the process of developing the first ideas about environmental conservation and sustainable development. All of them were professors from Costa Rica and the U.S. who participated in the first programs of ACM. And they ended up being, and some of the students also eventually came back to the country for graduate studies or even continued thereafter to develop important contributions to the country. So I think ACM has been crucial in the early development of some of the ideas that eventually Costa Rica implemented for sustainable development and environmental stewardship. Costa Rica is also in this very unique position of being right in the center of the Central America Isthmus, where there's a lot of exchange of biodiversity, but also culture. and different viewpoints. Costa Rica is a small country. It's always welcome international contributions. And I think this is one of the reasons why the country has made some important strides in the process of implemented policies that are considered quite progressive for the rest of the world. So I think we're in this ongoing process of always bringing new people in, new students with interesting ideas and foresight, that eventually all those ideas are becoming part of this big set of possibilities that eventually will lead into contributions and new innovations in the country. So I think that the program in Costa Rica is bi-directional. It's not only the students receiving education for all these global traits, also the students making contributions in the country. So I'm going to start discussing some of these programs in more detail so you get an idea of what they mean and how they differ between the fall and spring. So in the fall, we have an emphasis in one of the pillars of academy, which is outreach extension, and we can offer, because of the size of the country, the possibility that we have a contrast between a program, an academic program in urban settings combined with a rural community-based practicum. So in the fall, we also keep an intensive Spanish language class with customized classes in small groups that can be formatted at different levels of beginning levels of Spanish ability. And then also we offer this to choose a seminar class in one of three areas that we consider to be important in outreach in Costa Rica. One of them is environmental studies, the other one is public health, and the final is education and social policy. The students get the possibility to live and work in a rural community and an urban area for 1 month, engaging in local community organization. And then there's the very important option of staying with host families during the duration of the program, with the ability to contrast urban and rural life. And this is very important because without making the program too complex, the students can move from these two settings and acquire more understanding of how rural and urban locations are changing and evolving in time in Latin American countries and cultures. In the spring, we offer an emphasis in the other pillar of academy, which is research, generation of knowledge. And then we offer the possibility for the students to live and work as independent researchers. We also have an intensive Spanish language program, also with customized classes. But we add this component of research, which is self-directed but guided in the field. And we do placements with local research advisors that are interested in your specific research ideas. And what is important about this, as I mentioned before, those projects usually lead into important contributions. I am a strong believer that when you bring people from abroad, you always come with new perspectives, and that has eventually led to publications that were considered to be important in the local or even international communities, and eventually led to publications. And then also in the spring we have the family stays that include urban and or rural stays depending on the nature of the program or the research. So in the fall semester, because of the focus on extension, we think our program is very helpful for helping the students standing perspectives from different viewpoints, from putting people together with different generations. Our family stays, as I mentioned before, in Costa Rica, the families are integrated. So normally, when you stay with a family, you get the chance to get a deeper process of intergenerational connection. And we also offer the possibility to work in projects that are that have some that are complex enough that involve or different institutions working at the same time. So that gives you the ability to understand different institutions of different nature while trying to do a project. And then also the intercultural perspective, as well as an understanding of like specific aspects of culture, such as food, arts, and literature. And the community engagement, as I mentioned before, we have the focus on education, public health, or environmental stewardship. Specific about this community practicum, in the middle of the semester, the students will leave San Jose and spend 1 month in a rural community or an urban location, depending on the program, by developing an outreach project. And those projects will be linked to the areas where the students actually decide to take the center, either public health, education, or environment. And we have seen that this process of moving between urban and rural allows the students to develop even greater fluency in the language. For the spring semester, we have the possibility of the students to get into research, but one of the important aspects that we offer as a program is this very high geographical heterogeneity in a relatively small area, and that basically brings a lot of diversity in urban or rural sites, not only biological but also cultural diversity. We offer the possibilities of doing experiential learning, a very close and personalized mentoring from research advisors. And similar to the fall program, we offer the language and cultural exchange offered by the urban rural family stays. One of the things that has been noticeable from these research projects is the high degree of interdisciplinarity that they're involved. There's some of these work has ended in publications in international journals such as this one. And when you read those publications, you realize that they actually come from many different fields. The students have the opportunity also to share a lot of their experiences with different projects together, because we offer a lot of possibilities for the students to share their findings and their challenges while doing research. So in specific about the research is basically conduct a research project on the topic of your choice. The projects span, they said, the natural and environmental sciences, social sciences, and humanities. And the students are matched with the local research advisor. We are very careful about finding a really perfect match between the advisor and the student based on common ideas and areas and common questions, and also taking into account personalities and expectations of the students. This is just a sample of the type of projects that have been done and published eventually. So they span, as I said, very different, very diverse fields. And then the students also get, as I said, get the possibility of presenting the results to the local community and to themselves. So all the experiences are shared. So it's not only a personalized learning, but it's also a team-based learning process. And one of the things that I haven't mentioned is that we have a strong collaboration network with local institutions. The idea of the research is for the students to come and learn how research is carried in Costa Rica. And with extension programs, it's the same thing. It's come here to Costa Rica in the fall to learn how extension outreach is also developed in Costa Rica. And for that, we want the students to connect with the local research community, and within that would allow them to also understand the process of doing research in the particular conditions of Latin American country, which is different from the U.S. And that with the expectation, the hope that eventually that will help the process of international communication, the process of generating new knowledges or applying it. And one of those important collaborations we are currently undertaking with the Universidad de Costa Rica. the largest university in Costa Rica, and also the Universidad Nacional. And this idea is basically important for this process of developing these global traits and this horizontal exchange between students from the US and the students from Costa Rica, and also researchers and extensionists in our country. So that's kind of like in a general way what the research and the outreach programs in the spring and the fall include. So my fellow Mario Morera is going to tell you a little bit more details about the other parts of the program.
Hola a todos otra vez. This is Mario. I'm the coordinator for the Language and Cultural Studies Department for ACM Costa Rica, and I want to welcome you to consider ACM as an option for the future, and especially the Costa Rica program. And let me tell you something, this is a great opportunity, this is a great historical time to be somebody else. And what I mean with that is that students have to be not only students, but also global citizens. People who are able to be bilingual, and more important, people who are able to visit, to experience, to understand, and to be part of a different culture, because this is a globalized society right now. So for future opportunities for employment, companies or people you're going to be working with, or any kind of professional project, this is a great opportunity for you to be somebody else and to make of your CV something stronger and something that is going to make you different from other candidates. So like Dr. Espeleta told you, homestay is a very important part for the practice of language skills and for understanding and becoming a Costa Rican citizen for a semester. And as I like to put it, you come to Costa Rica not exactly to be ACM students. You don't come to Costa Rica to learn Spanish. You come to Costa Rica to be a Costa Rican citizen for a semester, and you come to Costa Rica to live in Spanish on a daily basis. Because everything you do, from walking to school from your houses, from taking buses, to taking taxis and interacting with people, local people on a daily basis, that is going to make up of the entire country our school. So everything you do 24/7 is going to be immersive practice of your linguistic learning. So that is the ACM office. We are located 5 blocks from the University of Costa Rica, and we are located also 15 minutes from San Jose, the capital city of Costa Rica. And it's a very good location because you're close to shopping malls, supermarkets, bookstores. You're close to the university, which you're going to be part of the activities from the University of Costa Rica. And Costa Rica, being a very small country, is something very useful because pretty much you can visit anywhere in the country by means of public transportation, and you don't have to pay that much. So, like Dr. Espeleta likes to say, you come to ACM to work hard, but also to play hard. Okay, it's a balance between being and producing an academic project, but also being able to experience the country during your free time. So, classes. For example, for the fall programs, we have the Introduction to Costa Rica class, and this is like a seminar of the history of Costa Rica from the colonial times up to the 21st century, and we like discussing current events related to what makes Costa Rica what it is right here, right now, and those classes are also mixed related to other kind of activities, for example, music, dance, theater. Family, you guys are going to be talking a lot to your families, both your family here in San Jose and the family you're going to be living with when you go out of San Jose to do your engagement practicum. And let me tell you a little bit about those pictures. The one at the top, the guy you see with a huge smile, his name is Roy Ramirez. He is a local choreographer, and he has been the champion for the Costa Rican version of Dancing with the Stars. And actually, he's a local champion, and he's also the champion on a Central American level. So you name it, salsa, merengue, swing, cumbia, reggaeton, whatever you want to dance, he can teach you, and by the end of the many classes we have with him, you're going to become experts in dancing Latin American rhythms. And the other picture at the bottom is the celebration of the independence in Costa Rica. So we asked students to give presentations of what the historical independent development of the country has been like. We mix that with other activities like cooking local dishes so people can get to know and to taste culture in a very first-hand experience. Spanish grammar, conversational culture. Actually, I'm going to talk into one example what we do for both programs, fall and spring. The classes we have here, as you can see, small groups. That one is kind of big because it was a different class, but yes, we work with small groups. So every professor is able to provide more time to every student, so attention is more individualized. We can concentrate on what you need to know, what your linguistics needs are, so we can make of your linguistic experience not an obstacle to enjoy Costa Rica, to improve your Spanish, and to make of your community engagement experience, your individual research project experience, a living situation in Costa Rica, so to speak, because we get to practice exactly what you need to be working on in order to be out of the building, in order to be an individual student, an individual researcher, and you're able to communicate with people in different levels of Spanish. And not everything is classes. So for example, in that picture, that is an example of the first weekend activities we do when the students are back to Costa Rica. That picture was taken a year ago exactly, and it's an example of what we do. That place is called Parque Metropolitano La Sabana, and we got students to play soccer with our director, Javier Espeleta, who used to be a very good soccer player, and he still does every now and then. And field trips, and actually, as we speak here, we're finishing the final details for the Nicaragua trip we're taking next week. So we go to Nicaragua, which is going to make of the ACM program something very unique, because with what program you can visit 2 different countries on a one-day trip. Actually, we go to Nicaragua. We get there around 6 p.m. usually, and what we do, we visit Granada and Masaya, 2 old colonial cities full of history, full of importance from the 1800s. Up to the socio-political movement that developed the Central American diversity during the 80s. We visit volcanoes, we visit natural reserves, and that's for Nicaragua. And in Costa Rica, we go to Monteverde, which you have already seen in some pictures. It's one of the most beautiful and important ecological places in Costa Rica, and actually pretty famous for white. We visit Earth University, a huge academic institution that brings along people from all over the planet, literally, to come to Costa Rica and to get ready to work as future professionals in the fields of animal science, agriculture, and such. We go to La Selva Biological Station near the Caribbean, where you get to see a lot of local flora and fauna. And for example, we go to the province of Cartago, which is one of the different places we get to visit in Costa Rica. We go to volcanoes, we go to churches, get to talk to different people, local organizations. So it's a very active program in which you're going to put into practice what we learn in the classrooms. So those are some examples of Nicaragua. Okay. First picture up to your left is the Masaya volcano during the day. And the one underneath that one is a view of the volcano at night. We're really looking forward to see that next week. And the other 2 pictures are churches, some other colonial cities we're going to visit. Yeah, it's pretty hot, it's very tropical, it's worth it, it's a wonderful visit. Monteverde, as you can see, we're going to visit the cloud forest, to hike, to do some animal sighting in general. And you get to see tourists and academic people from all over the world who are from this place in order to research one of the most important biological areas in the planet. not only in Costa Rica, but in the planet, actually. And for the extracurricular opportunities, like I told you, since we are very, very close to the University of Costa Rica, and something very important to mention is that you guys are going to be ACM students, but also UCR students, which means that you're going to be given ID cards from the University of Costa Rica, which are going to allow you to use some of the local facilities, use the libraries, and depending on your free time and your personal academic interests, you're going to have the opportunities to be part of the choir or the orchestra. You can be part of the, for example, the rugby or the soccer teams, or you can go to work at animal shelters, work with local public schools, go to the gym, practice yoga, and enjoy many of the different opportunities that the university has to offer you. So this is what I have to say. It's been a pleasure talking to you. So now we go back to ACM, and they're going to give you final details regarding the Costa Rica programs, dates, and information in general. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much, Javier. Thank you, Mario. We just wanted to give you a little information about next steps to take for those of you who are interested in applying. So the deadline for the fall 2017 program is actually today, but if you're still working on your application, then we can work with you, and that's totally fine. We'll make it work. Today is also the early deadline for the spring programs, but the spring semester deadline is the 15th of October, and the trimester quarter one is November 15th. So we still have some time for those. We accept applications on a rolling basis. So if you have, are listening to this now, listen to it in a couple of days when you get back from spring break and are really interested in applying, feel free to contact either Julie or myself, and we'll be working with Javier and with Mario to make sure that we can get your application in if that's what you're hoping to do. A result of that rolling system is also now that we have decreased our deposit fee. So students who are thinking of applying to the ACM Costa Rica program used to pay a $400 deposit fee, and we have dropped that down to $50, which we hope will also help students who are considering this program to maybe hopefully make that a reality. In addition to talking to us, we think it's really important and in fact required that you talk to some folks on your campus. And so that would be your own academic advisor to talk about how either the fall or the spring programs fit best into your sort of long-term academic plan. Oftentimes, the off-campus study offices at your campus are great resources, and they usually have an internal application for approval as well. And then Julie and I are really happy to take questions either now or emailed to us later about your specific scenario if you don't want to go into all of that. We also have one or two things for Mario and Javier to talk about if they would like to. One question we really often get specifically about the spring program are from students who they might be not in the sciences but want to be practicing their Spanish or are heritage speakers and really want to take an opportunity to do a program, but if they're not, biology majors, they sometimes wonder if there is a place for them. So I was wondering if you guys could talk about what the opportunities are specifically for students outside of the biological sciences for that spring program. Oh, they may have frozen, which is, part and parcel of working internationally, is that sometimes sometimes that happens. Oh, I think you all are back. Are you able to, do you need to repeat the question? Javier and Mario?
Yeah. So I couldn't hear the last part. Can you rephrase the question again?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have questions from students who are interested in doing the spring program, but maybe not as a science student. And so to talk about some of those opportunities.
To do it, the spring program, but not as a science.
Social sciences or humanities projects, maybe?
Yeah, no, actually, yeah, our program in the spring, it's formulated to be a program for generating new knowledge. So science is about generation of new knowledge. So we I don't really understand, like, or maybe we have to talk about what science is for different people. But for us, basically, it's anything that has to do with generating new knowledge. And there are many different ways of doing it. So we think of a very traditional, stereotypical scientific project. We do that, but we also do other types. It's basically, just to give you an idea, for instance, this semester, we're working together with people from Universidad Nacional University of Costa Rica. We have a big array of projects ranging from students coming to study the perception of or the level of knowledge of the communities affected by new emerging tropical diseases, such as, for instance, the Zika virus. So that's going to be some type of research, but it's basically more about getting information from communities that it's going to guide policy eventually, or efforts to educate better the communities. So that's considered for us as a research project. We also have a project of a student who's interested in the problems of migrant women about their families. So that's another very social and humanities focused project. We have two students working in breast cancer research, related mostly to the conditions of the country. And we also have another one that is more in psychological research about the stereotypes in young women and their problems about choosing careers here in Costa Rica. So all those topics are questions that the student brought that just happen to be the same questions that other people here in Costa Rica were addressing. So, but we have an idea of developing quantitative and qualitative science at the same time, and science that is more hardcore, or science that is more to orient policy and extension.
So from my point of view, yes, pretty much. We're open to all sorts of projects. And if any of you is interested in doing projects, for example, music, dance, literature, movie making, or any other area related to humanities or social sciences, you're welcome to apply. And yes, you can carry out an individual research project based on that. So yes, everyone is welcome.
Awesome.
So we have a very open perspective of what a research project is. It's anything that has to do with producing new knowledge.
That is great to hear. And right in line with the liberal arts, which is always good. We've got one last question, and then we are going to let you all go and let students. There are a couple folks who have had to leave the webinar because of other requirements, but they will be emailing us, and we'll be reaching back out later as well. And our other question is about applying for the fall program. And specifically, Mario, I know that you talked about the language requirements, but I know that that's student is specifically asking if they grew up speaking Spanish but haven't taken Spanish classes because they grew up speaking it, what sort of opportunities there are on the program for them, or like what that would be for somebody who grew up speaking Spanish.
Well, regarding the language requirements, we ask students to come to the program with at least let's say, previous experience in high school, maybe 4 classes, and regarding college, 2 or 3 semesters of previous Spanish classes. However, do not let that be an obstacle for you to come to the ACM program, because as I said during the presentation, we have different linguistic levels, we have different classes, we have different approaches for different levels, and according to my experience, students don't have different levels of Spanish. The students have different needs, and that's what we work on, and everyone is welcome, pretty much. You can have a basic basis on Spanish, and we can work on that. And we also, for the full program, we offer the opportunity of more advanced Spanish classes. For example, last year, there was a local movie director, Morera, who taught Central American movie making in the 21st century. He's a director, and actually for the last Latin American Independent Movie Festival, he was the winner. It was a big opportunity, a big award for him. And he taught the students about movie making and topics in Latin American and Central American cinema. It was a advanced Spanish class. And in that sense, yes, once again, our policy is that everyone is welcome from different levels to more advanced levels. We offer a lot of different options for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time.
Yes, and we'll be reaching out to you all today for those students who are interested in applying. So thanks for joining us, and thank you again, Javier and Mario.
Adios.
Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.